Um, we'll start with room. Hopefully you remember what number room you're in. Do y'all know what number room you're in?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Because I would have a hard time finding it. So we'll
Five.
start with room number two. And if someone from room number two will let us know your recommendations or ideas.
Well, I don't know that we came to any ideas, but one of the ladies, she think was from the Chicago area, was talking about the DNC being there, and I mean that might be an opportunity of something we could all do together, or make it figure out a way for it to be effective and not problematic like it has been in the past. If there's a way we could do something around the DNC in Chicago, that would work. And they're putting a lot of restrictions on who, I mean, getting permission to go to it and stuff. So that seems like that has some possibilities, but I guess there's some issues actually getting permits, I guess. But the other thing is that, there's just so much, you don't know what to do because it's all so bad, that I was thinking that the Senate and House stuff may be a good way of doing something for sure. The ask of us doing that for the 502B and the Gaza Wars Power Act in the House. Once you send that out, I think that's something we could all do that might, be effective.
Okay. So room number three.
So I guess I'll go ahead. Robert actually encouraged us to come to Chicago if we can on August 19th. That's the first day of the Democratic National Convention.
Right.
That's a Monday. It runs till Thursday the 22nd. And then in terms of the War Powers Act resolution, actually, flipping the name. Ernie lives in Chuy Garcia's district in Chicago, and Chuy was actually one of 37 Democrats who voted against funding to Israel, and so we think he might be a good person to contact about the War Powers Act. And then in terms of UNRWA funding, Jan Schakowsky has already expressed her desire to restart UNRWA funding. And I actually used to live in Evanston, Illinois. That's the area that she represents. I'll try to get a hold of some people that I know that still lives in the area to contact Jan Schakowsky. And then looking at my notes here, trying to Muna was telling us how in Cleveland they're working on trying to get Cuyahoga County, which is the county of Cleveland, to divest from Israel bonds. Also, they're back about 4 to 8 years ago, the state of Ohio had a push to buy Israeli bonds also, which is another place to try to get divestment from. And of course, you brought up the universities, the students trying to get their institutions to divest. And she also mentioned actually the hospitals. Cleveland Clinic has quite an investment portfolio in Israeli bonds also. And I think that might be it. I haven't forgotten anything. Oh yeah, I did. My idea. So I've been trying to push this where so I've been trying to push that actually the Biden-Harris ticket should not be the ticket for the Democratic Party. So why do I say that? In 1968, Lyndon Johnson um, pulled out of the race for president about halfway through the primaries, and actually primaries are actually still going on in some states. Um, and it wasn't until the convention that he finally settled on the vice president at the time. But actually, Ed Muskie, who was in the primaries, actually had more support than Hubert Humphrey. But the convention went with Hubert Humphrey, and he lost. But I think the Democratic Party needs to switch horses here. My preferred candidate would be Bernie Sanders, with Barbara Lee as the vice president. And this is all very unlikely. However, it's possible, for one, and two. Biden could still lose to Trump if we continue with Biden. I think Bernie is a much better candidate against Trump. He probably would have beat Trump in 2016 if they would let him run.
Thank you, David.
So, thank you.
Well, David made excellent recommendations along with the one Mary shared with us. And it seems that we could be able to get UN funding, relief funding, sooner than later, because that be low-hanging fruit for the weak Democrats. Don't get me started on them. So, yes, Sally couldn't help herself by saying Hamas is evil. I almost can't help myself by saying what I feel about Democrats, but I'm going to be, I don't know the word for it, but I'm going to do what is best as the representative of UFPJ. So group number 4, I think I saw a number your number come up that you want to go now.
Yep.
Okay.
They nominated me to do it. So
Great.
Here I go.
And you'll do it in 4 minutes.
There was, you know it. So,
Right.
Drastic activities require drastic actions. Genocide is the activity. We should be ungovernable. I like that quote. And BDS is working.
How was it?
I'm sorry? Yeah. So here, along these lines of BDS, do the research. Who sends the money to which candidates?
Right.
So there's some folks doing that in the Cleveland area, and Sabrina mentioned doing this in Buffalo. We want one central location to see which Israel supporting groups are sending money to which candidates, who the donors are. And we could compile that list on a Google Doc. We do also like, let me see, wait, let me continue with this. Companies that donate to candidates, we need a collection spot. Okay, we said that. And I did say that BDS is working. Sabrina reported that McDonald's is having problems in Israel because of all the boycotts. So that's wonderful news. So there's that. Plus the legislative activities. We liked Mr. Naaman's proposals, and I think that would be a good activity for all of us to follow up with. And we all thought that as well. And one more thing is show up. I forgot to mention this in our little breakout, but there's a march on Washington next Saturday, and Cleveland's sending at least one bus so far, and I'll be on that. And that's
the 29th.
Yeah, we are the red line, President
You
Biden.
said next Saturday. I freaked out because
yeah, next Saturday, June 8th.
End of the month.
So Robert Naaman's suggested.
There's two.
Yeah.
George, there's two. There's two.
Okay.
One's the 8th and one's the 29th.
Okay.
Oh, the Poor People's Campaign is the 29th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be in DC. I might as well just camp out there. You goddamn right. Set up a tent and say no more war. That's what we need to do. Shut shit down. That's what I always say. So you heard me say it before. And that's pretty much it, Sabrina put some stuff in the chat. Oh, Israel bonds. They're not called Israeli bonds. They're called Israel bonds. That's the name of the company. Our state buys them. Timmy said that they're buying them in Chicago as well. Our county is buying them. It's divest, divest, divest. Key Bank could be a target. I don't know if y'all have Key Bank in your cities, but they buy Israel bonds too. So we need to send the research that we've done in Cleveland to y'all. Thank you.
Excellent. And Mary and Sally, the I don't know if the clearinghouse for those where everybody's money comes from, maybe that's something your PJ can help with. And it is kind of hard research. I did it for the North Carolina people, and it took me quite some time to find out who's funding our senators and who's funding our congressional reps, and then who's funding the ones who are running for office. But it is public information, so it's out there. But yeah, Sally and Mary, remember this moment. And I might too. Okay, group number 3. Mark. Mark Stansberry.
No, Charles from Chicago's got our list, but it's group 5.
Oh, it's group 5. Oh, good. Charles from Chicago has our list.
Yeah, in group 5, we touched on a number of ideas. So basically, they fell into these categories of looking at the convention, the DNC, as others have stated, would be really good. And then legislation like the ones that Robert Naiman spoke about. And then divestment, as others have spoken about as well, BDS, divestment. Another idea being the Stop AIPAC campaign, which kind of ties to the Israel bonds, or I mean, ties to looking at where donations are going. And so Jewish Voice for Peace has a Stop AIPAC campaign. And we talked a little bit about film screenings, which we've been doing some of in Chicago, and doing film screenings of movies like Israelism that kind of, to lift up what Muna had said earlier in the chat, was to say that there's a very big difference between Zionism and Judaism, and films like that help show that. And then there were some other good conversations. I don't know if I missed another major point that anyone from group 5 can share.
Charles, just that we were talking about building relations with organized constituents like labor, faith. And so you were talking about how you've been working with the faith.
Yeah, we have been able to show a lot of our films and events at one of our great churches who has a peace and justice committee. And so one idea was the faith community, other mosques, churches, synagogues who might be open to these kind of things. They could be great communities to involve. And then Mark had brought up the labor. There's Labor for Palestine formations out there. That could be another basically aspect to plug into really like the wider communities that are out there that we're not reaching.
Good.
And that's all we have for group 5.
George, you're muted.
So maybe group 1 now?
Thank you. There was no group 1 or a group 6. There are 4 groups, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great. Wow. We're at the end and we have time left. Y'all, this hasn't happened. No, I'm going back in my memory records of the last 3 years or so, 4 maybe. Never early. So yay us. You get to play. Make sure oh, Timmy,
Yeah, quick. Well, the first thing I wanted to say, y'all want to have a better America, try thinking out of the box, and instead of voting for what you think is the lesser of two evils, sign a petition for Jill Stein to get on the ballot. The other thing I want to tell you is that I don't know how to find it again, but there is a site, it's called Open Secrets. And it purports to, somebody must have put it in the chat or somewhere. And it purports to tell us who's getting what money from where. So that would be something to do, to go to look for.
all right.
And,
Am I
Jill Stein is the only candidate who is for peace and the people and the planet.
Wow.
The others are all, what do you call it? Carpetbaggers.
Carpetbaggers. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to belittle what you said. And, you know, it does really matter. But
You know,
I'm trying to be unmuted. Sabrina, what do you have to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, so I know pre-artificial intelligence, getting all that data together was super hard. So I managed to get some data that normally there's like safeguards against, because they don't want stuff about police, government, blah, 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 compiled with their tools. But if you pretend that you need to get a job somewhere, they're really happy to give you addresses for resumes to be sent out. So I'm just saying that if you are savvy with artificial intelligence, if you create fake scenarios, you can get around their safeguards, because they think they're helping somebody like get a job, and they don't realize that you trying to get a job with defense contractors that require you to have the addresses of each one of them might be a problem for their safeguards, because you want to get a job. So I'm just saying, get creative. There's like ways to kind of make it a lot quicker. And I'm not even a data science person. I'm a writer and a marketing person, but I'm sure data science people know how to get around stuff even better. But even with the free stuff, there are ways to compile information a lot quicker. You just have to find out how to trick the AI. So
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. For people who care for that kind of thing, that sounds like very good information. I've got to say, honestly, as an old lady, and you know, I take responsibility for having an elder privilege. But what comes to me when you say that is you can't take down the master's house with the master's tools. So just sharing. Don?
Yes, thank you. I just want to say regarding Sally, you made a comment earlier that, you know, you felt that Hamas is evil. I remember that I did go to Gaza, and Hamas also, I mean, there's a two-parted part of the government. I mean, the Jewish Federation or Israel has an armed wing, and Hamas has an armed wing, and it's called what, Al-Aqsa, or any case, there's an armed wing. But there's also a governmental wing of Hamas, which is really, I guess, the bulk of what they do, I guess. But maybe I shouldn't say that for sure. But they ran the government. I mean, you know, you want to get a birth certificate, where do you go? You go to your county building. Hamas was doing all that. And I know when I went to Gaza, and they bombed in 2009, what did I see flying around the street? People's documents flying around the street because Israel targeted government buildings. So now, you know, I mean, look, which freaking government is clean? Which government has clean hands? I mean, how many genocides are we backing? You know, here in the U.S. So anyway, I mean, yeah,
Well,
Hamas has a bad side. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
If we really are
Amen.
going
I
to get off, we're really going to be gone at 7. You know,
Mona's
y'all,
hand
between
up.
Tema and you opening big topics, maybe for the next gathering. Muna?
Oh, I just wanted to support Don on what he was saying, and I wanted to just like mention an interesting information that not a lot of people know. Actually, Hamas started as a like social group. They were helping with hospitals, education, and lots of like humanitarian stuff before the armed resistance. I would just encourage everybody to like look more into the history and how everything formed. Because no matter what, just like the colonization is not good. When people are living in Israel, they're actually taking Palestinians home, whether they're they wanted to or they did not want to. They like in order for someone to live there, a Palestinian family has to be kicked out of their home. So it's just I'm encouraging you to kind of learn more about the history of everything, to know what led to what happened later on.
Thanks, Muna.
Yeah.
It's good to know that from a history teacher.
And I want to thank Muna for being on this call and for coming all the way through to a breakout. It's been wonderful to have you.
Thank
And
you.
Sabrina, are you good? I wanted to make sure you didn't feel silence.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm Latina. I talk and I silence all myself, so it's fine. I'm good.
Okay. But you're also younger than me, so I need to be respectful. Hey,
Oh,
Mark.
you're sweet.
Yes, I am. Mark, you have like 2 minutes.
Oh, I don't even 2 minutes. The aspect of sending delegations there, medical, other folks to Gaza. We have a privilege of having a woman from Toledo that's a doctor, Al-Hinte, who was one of the 3 that refused to leave when the U.S. doctors were being evacuated by a U.S. embassy. She refused to leave, but then they all were evacuated later, about a week later. But she's got a great story. I think the more we get people over there and bringing back stories, the better. Stories are so important.
Very good.
It's true.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is true.
Story.
So I'm not good at putting something in the chat, and I want to say goodbye. So I'm gonna please ask you, Mary, if you would put in the chat our website. I will give it to you though. It's ufpj.org. Yes. No, it's not. It's unitedforpeace.org, right?
Yes.
And our email is info.ufpj@gmail.org. And if you go to our website, you'll get lots of access to resources. If you're not a member group, join. And if you care to donate, that would be greatly appreciated. It's great to talk to y'all and be with y'all again. For the 3rd time, last March, we had the very first Great Lakes Gathering, and another in October. Was that it? Was it October, Charles? Don? I don't know, but I'd love to get together with y'all. Maybe we can meet again in September.
Yeah. No,
That'll
no
be
later than that.
after the Chicago meeting. What do y'all think?
Good, but let's talk on email because we got some projects we're working on, right?
Yes, yes. Let's think about October, or I don't like the idea of November. And September feels too soon. What do you think? I mean, I'm happy to say September if y'all feel like it. Charles?
I vote September.
Really? Okay, Don, maybe we'll talk about it over email. And all you good people, as you leave, I will play a little music that was recommended by Sally. And y'all remember to save the chat. Wow, I was surprised I came back to anybody on the screen. Did I hear your voice, Sally, at the end of when I started the song?
No,
Oh, I thought I heard someone. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day. Well, good night.
and thank you all
Bye.
Yes,
you.
many thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
for your attentiveness.
Yes.